be honest, folks. What's the first thing you think of when you hear Atlanta Ice and championship football game? How about 18 years ago this month, Super Bowl 34, played right here in Atlanta in the aftermath of 2 winter storms. There were hundreds of wrecks, tens of millions of dollars in damage. Well, we've got a big football game here tomorrow night. But, Chris, it should not be as bad as what we saw back in January 2000, right?
We don't think so. We think this is going to be an issue mainly for the morning hours tomorrow, and we're going to see some light amounts of precip that are going to be coming our way. But there is a winter weather advisory in effect roughly along the I-85 corridor. That line to the north and west is where we're going to see the potential for some light icing to develop. Now, we think as this precip moves in, a lot of it is going to dry out, but we will see enough of it to come down to give us either some light freezing drizzle or light freezing rain. We're just talking about mainly some glazing on some elevated surfaces, bridges and overpasses, and maybe even some roadways as well, and potentially up to about 1/10 of an inch of those accumulations as well of ice. We're not talking about a snow event here. This is a freezing rain event. We're watching the moisture, not here yet, but it's over into Alabama. But notice though how this first initial line, how that falls apart. That's because it's moving into some very dry air. So it's going to take a while before our atmosphere gets a little more saturated as all this moisture moves our way. Here's one of our models showing as we go through the overnight hours. Now, even though this is showing white, we're not anticipating snow. This is a freezing rain possibility. This is for the overnight hours and toward tomorrow morning. Still some of that light freezing rain or drizzle early in the morning here. And then once we get to the mid-morning hours and afternoon, notice that the pinkish color disappears and it's all green here. That's because once we get to the lunchtime hour, temperatures will be back above freezing and everything would change over to plain old rain after that. Stay with us. We're going to talk more about those specific hours and which areas are most likely to see some of that icing. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris. You know, within the last 2 hours, GDOT crews hit the roads to pre-treat them with brine. That's all ahead of tomorrow morning's winter weather that Chris is talking about. So let's go out to Ryan Kruger, who's live in the Thunder Truck for us tonight. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Vinny, so we have been following behind this this particular GDOT crew that's doing brine on the road for the better part of about 90 minutes, and we've really kind of gone all over the metro areas. Let's go ahead and get you the shot. We are in the Thunder Truck, so this is the bubble cam showing you these flashing lights you're seeing. That is going to be a law enforcement vehicle. Right in front of that is a GDOT brine truck, which we might get a little bit closer. Zoom in the camera there to let you see. So what that truck is doing, it's carrying 10,000 gallons of brine, and it's basically a saltwater mixture. Pretty simple. Dropping that right onto the road. What that does is it lowers the temperature that the ice is going to freeze. So in theory, in the morning, any precipitation we have, any ice we may have, hopefully the brine will kind of turn that more into a slush that can then be easily scraped off with some plow trucks. We were there earlier. It was about 8:30 as they were loading up all of their trucks. Each of the trucks has 10,000 gallons of brine. Now, GDOT is really stressing all of this winter weather concerns. That's just the beginning of what is likely to be a unique and chaotic day.
You've got 2 fan bases bringing their cars. You've got a presidential motorcade that will shut down whatever interstate he decides to take. That is a rolling closure that shuts down exit and entrance ramps and lanes. So whether it's the AM commute or the PM commute, we're dealing with very different things and very hectic situations on our road.
Yeah, hectic situation, certainly. Probably the 2 most hectic neighborhoods going to be Midtown, downtown, anywhere you get closer to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Of course, the fact that government offices are closed, schools are closed, that's going to help some, but be prepared for a very chaotic day tomorrow. Vinny?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ryan. Be sure to download the 11 Live app to stay ahead of the weather. You can sign up for alerts and check radar and maps in real time. That's 24/7.